So hello again. Today we're going to be talking about FPGAs. I'm going to be giving a short introduction to the device, and if you would like to learn more, it's something I would definitely recommend since they are incredibly useful for projects. So for the FPGA, we have to understand that it stands for Field Programmable Gate Array. This means that the FPGA is composed by an array of logic gates, just like we covered in previous videos. The function of an FPGA is to be able to configure its settings so that you can create one of the circuits that we've covered in previous videos with ANDs, ORs, and XOR gates. The way that it works is through coding languages. These are very low-level languages that are descriptive of the hardware inside. What HDL stands for is Hardware Description Language. This basically means that instead of creating a program to function a certain way, what we are doing with these coding languages is simply configuring the chip to work a certain way. The way this works and the way that FPGAs are built is, first of all, with I/O blocks all around the chip, which will help it interact with the outside world. Then inside the gate array, we have configurable logic blocks that are shown right here with these squares. The configurable logic blocks are the parts that will contain the gates and also the memory of the system. Finally, probably the most important part, we have the configurable interconnections that I show inside this blue rectangle. This will allow us to determine which logic block is connected to which, giving us so much freedom when creating these circuits. They are used as opposed to general IC wiring not only because it's easier to do in the first place, but it is easier to change. If you have a very big circuit like some of the ones that we did before, not only will you have to take a lot of time wiring the design, but if something were to change, you would have to redo the entire circuit, which takes an immense amount of time. So, FPGAs offer an alternative that is able to adapt quickly to new changes. The two languages most commonly used are Verilog and VHDL. VHDL stands for, while both are very widely used, these two languages work in the same way, but the syntax is different. I know that Verilog is more similar to C, while VHDL was the first language to become a standard, so it's a little bit more rudimental. So if you learn more, you can decide which one to learn and be able to create projects that will be able to accomplish everything that we've covered in this course through coding. So yeah, and what is really cool about FPGAs and what makes them different is that you can basically determine how many resources will be administered to each task. So I know that they are used a lot in image processing because you can process pixels in parallel and so on. So it's a really good tool to have, and it's really important to know. I think that as long as you are slightly familiar with the components and what makes it an FPGA, you will know what you need to know. So yeah, I hope this was helpful.